26-year-old Kayla Morrison had been watching Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's very public relationship unfold for 8 months when she made the decision that would shock the world, buying a ticket to Taylor's concert at Arrowhead Stadium, creating a sign that read, "Travis lied to both of us," and preparing to reveal the text messages and phone calls that proved Travis had been deceiving both women since the beginning of his relationship with Taylor. What happened when Kayla interrupted the concert in front of 87,000 people would expose the truth about Travis's character and lead to the most dramatic relationship revelation in entertainment history. Before we dive into Kayla's explosive revelation and Taylor's incredible response that would show the world what real strength looks like, I need to ask you something. If stories about women supporting each other against deception and the courage it takes to speak truth, even when it could destroy you, matter to you, please hit that subscribe button right now. These stories take weeks to investigate and verify, and your subscription helps us continue sharing the moments that remind us all that sometimes the most important thing we can do is tell the truth, no matter how painful it might be. Now, back to Kayla's unforgettable confrontation. Kayla Morrison had dated Travis Kelce during their junior and senior years at the University of Cincinnati, where she was studying communications and he was becoming one of the top tight end prospects in college football. Their relationship had been serious enough that Travis had talked about marriage and their future together. But when he was drafted by the Kansas City Chiefs in 2013, he told Kayla that he needed to focus entirely on his NFL career and couldn't maintain a long-distance relationship. The breakup had been devastating for Kayla, but she had respected Travis's decision and tried to move on with her life. She completed her degree, began working in marketing for a Kansas City-based company, and eventually started following Travis's NFL career from a distance, feeling proud of his success even though their relationship hadn't worked out. When Travis began dating Taylor Swift in 2023, Kayla was initially happy for him, thinking that he had finally found someone who could fit into his high-profile lifestyle in a way that she never could have. But what Kayla didn't know was that Travis had never completely cut contact with her, and his messages to her had continued even after his relationship with Taylor became public. The text messages had started innocuously enough, Travis reaching out around holidays or after big games to catch up and see how Kayla was doing. But as his relationship with Taylor became more serious and more publicized, Travis's messages to Kayla had become more frequent and more inappropriate, suggesting that he missed their connection and wasn't sure if his relationship with Taylor was built on genuine feelings or just publicity benefits. I keep thinking about what we had. Travis had texted Kayla just 3 weeks before the Arrowhead Stadium concert. "This whole thing with Taylor feels like I'm playing a character instead of being myself. You knew the real me." Kayla had been receiving these messages for months, feeling confused and conflicted about Travis's apparent deception of Taylor, but she hadn't known what to do with the information. She didn't have Taylor's contact information, she couldn't prove her claims to the media without appearing like a jealous ex-girlfriend, and she wasn't sure if anyone would believe her word against one of the NFL's biggest stars and the world's most famous pop singer. But as Kayla watched Travis and Taylor's relationship become increasingly public, with Travis attending her concerts and Taylor supporting him at Chiefs games, she began feeling guilty about keeping Travis's continued contact secret. She realized that Taylor deserved to know the truth about the person she was dating, and that staying silent made her complicit in Travis's deception. The decision to confront the situation at Taylor's concert came after Travis sent Kayla a particularly damaging message just days before the show. He had texted her saying that he was thinking about ending things with Taylor because their relationship felt too fake, and asking if Kayla would be interested in getting back together once he was, quote, "free from all this publicity nonsense." That message was the final straw for Kayla. She realized that Travis was not only deceiving Taylor about his feelings, but he was also disrespecting both women by keeping his options open and treating their relationships like business decisions rather than genuine emotional connections. Kayla bought a ticket to Taylor's concert at Arrowhead Stadium, knowing that it would be the most public and dramatic way to expose Travis's deception, but also believing that Taylor deserved to know the truth, regardless of the personal cost to herself or the public embarrassment it would cause. The sign Kayla created was simple but devastating. Travis lied to both of us in large black letters on white poster board, with smaller text that read, I have the texts to prove it." She also prepared screenshots of Travis's most incriminating messages, stored on her phone and ready to share if given the opportunity. On the night of the concert, Kayla positioned herself in the front section of the stadium, close enough to the stage that her sign would be visible to Taylor and to the cameras that were recording the show for broadcast and social media. She waited until Taylor was performing, quote, "Anti-Hero," a song about taking responsibility for one's flaws, before raising her sign high enough for Taylor to see. The effect was immediate and visible. Taylor noticed the sign while singing, and her expression changed from confident performance to confusion and then to concern as she read the message. She continued singing for another verse, but Kayla could see that Taylor was distracted and trying to process what the sign meant. As the song ended, Taylor walked to the edge of the stage and looked directly at Kayla. "Can I ask about your sign?" Taylor said into her microphone, her voice carrying to every corner of the 87,000-person stadium. Kayla stood up, her heart racing, as she realized that Taylor was actually going to address the situation publicly rather than having security remove her. "Travis has been texting me throughout your entire relationship," Kayla called out, her voice carrying in the momentary silence between songs. "He told me he wanted to get back together after he breaks up with you." The stadium erupted in shocked gasps and murmurs as 87,000 people tried to process what they had just heard. Taylor stood on the stage, visibly stunned by the accusation, but maintaining her composure in front of the massive audience. "What's your name?" Taylor asked, speaking directly to Kayla. "Kayla Morrison. I dated Travis in college for 2 years." Taylor was quiet for a moment, looking at Kayla with an expression that seemed to combine hurt, anger, and curiosity. "You said you have texts to prove what you're claiming?" "I do," Kayla replied, holding up her phone. "I can show them to you right now if you want." What happened next shocked everyone in the stadium, including Kayla herself. Instead of having security remove her or dismissing her claims, Taylor made a decision that demonstrated incredible courage and integrity. "Bring her up here," Taylor said to her security team. "If she has something to show me that affects my life, I want to see it." Stadium security escorted Kayla onto the stage, where she stood face-to-face with Taylor Swift, in front of 87,000 people and millions more watching on live streams and social media. Taylor asked for Kayla's phone and spent several minutes reading through the text messages that Travis had sent. The stadium was completely silent as Taylor read, her facial expressions changing from skepticism to hurt to anger as she saw the evidence of Travis's deception. Finally, she handed the phone back to Kayla and spoke into her microphone. "These messages are real," Taylor announced to the stadium. "Travis has been lying to both of us." The crowd's reaction was unlike anything anyone at the venue had ever experienced. Some people booed, some cheered, some sat in stunned silence as they witnessed one of the most dramatic relationship revelations in entertainment history unfolding in real time. "Kayla, why did you decide to tell me this publicly?" Taylor asked. "Because you deserve to know the truth," Kayla replied, her voice now amplified through Taylor's microphone. "I know this is embarrassing and painful, but I couldn't keep letting him lie to both of us." Taylor looked at Kayla for a long moment, then made another decision that surprised everyone. "Thank you for having the courage to tell me the truth," Taylor said. "I know this couldn't have been easy for you." Taylor then addressed the entire stadium. "This is not how I expected this concert to go, but I've learned something important tonight. Sometimes the people who seem like they're trying to hurt us are actually the ones brave enough to tell us the truth that everyone else is too scared to share." Instead of ending the concert or letting the situation destroy the evening, Taylor used the moment to perform an acoustic version of "Would've, Could've, Should've," dedicating it to everyone who has ever been lied to by someone they trusted. The song took on new meaning in the context of what had just been revealed, and the performance became one of the most emotionally powerful moments of Taylor's career. After the concert, Taylor and Kayla met privately to discuss the situation further. Taylor learned more details about Travis's pattern of deception and his continued contact with Kayla throughout their relationship. The conversation was difficult but honest, with both women recognizing that they had been manipulated by someone they had trusted. "I want you to know that I don't blame you for any of this," Taylor told Kayla. Travis made choices that hurt both of us. And you had the courage to speak up when no one else would. Within 48 hours, Taylor had ended her relationship with Travis, releasing a statement that praised Kayla's honesty and condemned Travis's deception without going into specific details about the private messages he had sent. I was fortunate that someone cared enough about the truth to share information that I needed to know, Taylor's statement read. Sometimes the people who seem like they might be our enemies are actually the ones looking out for our best interests. Travis attempted to deny Kayla's claims publicly, but the evidence was overwhelming, and his denials only made his deception more obvious to fans and media who had witnessed the confrontation. The incident sparked conversations about honesty in relationships, the courage required to speak difficult truths, and the importance of women supporting each other against deception. Kayla received both criticism and praise for her decision to expose Travis publicly, but she stood by her choice to prioritize truth over convenience. "I knew that speaking up would make me look like the jealous ex-girlfriend," Kayla said in interviews afterward. "But I also knew that staying silent would make me complicit in Travis's lies. Taylor deserved to know the truth, and I was the only one who could tell her." Taylor and Kayla developed an unlikely friendship based on their shared experience of being deceived by the same person. Taylor supported Kayla through the media attention and public scrutiny that followed the revelation, and Kayla became an advocate for honesty and transparency in relationships. 6 months later, Taylor established the Truth and Trust Foundation, dedicated to supporting women who find the courage to speak out against deception and manipulation in their personal relationships. Kayla became one of the foundation's first ambassadors, sharing her story to encourage other women to speak up when they witness harmful behavior. "That night at Arrowhead taught me that sometimes doing the right thing requires making yourself vulnerable to criticism and judgment," Taylor reflected when discussing the incident. "Kayla showed incredible courage by prioritizing my well-being over her own comfort, and that's the kind of character that deserves to be celebrated." The concert footage of Kayla's revelation became one of the most watched moments in social media history, but its lasting impact was the conversation it started about the importance of truth-telling and women supporting each other, even in difficult circumstances. "I lost a boyfriend that night, but I gained something more valuable," Taylor said. "I gained the knowledge that there are people in this world who will risk their own reputation to make sure the truth is told. That's worth more than any relationship built on lies." And for Kayla, the decision to speak up at the concert, despite the personal cost and public scrutiny, became a defining moment that showed her the power of choosing truth over comfort and courage over silence. Sometimes the most important truth-telling happens not in private conversations, but in public moments, when someone decides that honesty matters more than personal comfort or social convenience. Kayla Morrison's decision to expose Travis Kelce's deception at Taylor Swift's concert proved that real courage means risking your own reputation to protect someone else from being hurt by lies. Her willingness to speak up in front of 87,000 people demonstrated that standing up for truth requires accepting that others might misunderstand your motives, judge your methods, or question your character. The most beautiful thing about that night wasn't the dramatic revelation itself, but Taylor's immediate recognition that Kayla's courage deserved respect rather than blame, and that sometimes the people who appear to be disrupting our lives are actually the ones brave enough to show us the truth we need to see. Their unlikely alliance proved that women supporting each other against deception is more powerful than any relationship built on lies, and that authentic connection can emerge from even the most painful moments when we choose honesty over harmony.